Welcome to the election forum for the upcoming GISA elections. Just to introduce myself, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jenkins. I'm moderating this debate on behalf of Touché, the student magazine here. The reason, just to kind of give a bit of background on that, is that we thought it would be useful to have an independent moderating group as opposed to GISA moderating this debate. In terms, like it is the first time that we've done this, so bear with us. We'll try and make it run as smoothly as possible. In terms of tonight's proceedings, we've got 4 positions which are being elected in the next coming days. We've got events coordinator, PhD representative, master's representative, and president. In terms of the outline for tonight, we're going to start with events before moving on to PhD, masters, and then president. Each candidate will have a chance to give a couple minutes presentation on their platform. They will also have 1 minute at the end to wrap up with any sort of final concluding points. In between those 2 sections, we'll have an open floor. Encourage everyone to get involved. If you've got questions, please raise them. Cara's going to be going around with the roving mic. So please challenge, please raise issues that you're concerned about, and we'll hopefully get a good debate going. In terms of code of conduct, really simple stuff. Just let's keep the discussion issue specific. Let's keep it respectful and positive. We will try, and if people are wanting to ask questions in French, that's obviously encouraged. In terms of how we go about the questions, I'll try and be fair, obviously, in giving each candidate an equal amount of time to respond. I might not go to each person for each question, but appropriate the questions given what people have said in their platforms, just to kind of keep things moving along. So we're going to start off with events. We've got two candidates, Nelly and Kevin. Want to come up? Okay, so Kevin's going to start us off. You've got a couple minutes to make an opening statement.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kevin. I'm a first-year MDev student from California. Did my undergrad in Vancouver, British Columbia, also an exchange in Manchester, England before I came here. And this past year, I've really enjoyed being part of this student community. I think it's really up to us to create a good, vibrant student community. I think that's become sort of apparent to everybody here, that it's going to have to come from the students to create something that's really active and that everybody can really participate in and that's culturally diverse. I think that's really important. So as student coordinator or event coordinator, I think one of my main jobs would be to focus on the student initiatives. I think the power in creating a diverse and robust student community here at the Institute is going to be through the student initiatives. And so I would see my job as providing whatever resources, support that I could help to help plan all the events that we've taken part in, like this past year, that have been so much fun and created such a good sense between all of the students here. I know that there has been concerns raised about the American presence on GISA. And if you look at me and listen to me talk, you can certainly tell that I don't offer any inherent intrinsic change to that. But when I was thinking about if I should run or not, it would be a stupid reason not to run, because I feel like people would want something else, and I would be full force behind all the student initiatives from the different regions of the world in promoting different events.
20 seconds, Kevin.
Okay. And also, I want to say that I'm sorry, but I don't speak French. But I do really encourage the bilingual atmosphere and all of the initiatives that people are going to, as whether it's software, classes, workshops, language cafe, anything like that, I will be 100% behind. Thank you.
Nelly? Yep.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Nelyda. I'm 27 years old. I'm in the Master of Development Studies. And I was also thinking on running or not, but yeah, why not? Like, if we are looking for diversity, I'm Mexican. I speak Spanish, I speak English, and I'm working so hard on learning more French. So actually, I think I can work better in French. And why I want to do this? Well, I have enjoyed so much my time here this year in Geneva. We have really nice parties. We have really nice events, but I think we still can do a lot more. Even cultural stuff, parties, and also sportive stuff. And I would like to work very close to the different initiatives that we have here, to hear them, to know what they would like to have. And also be very careful in the budget that we're having for every event to make it sustainable for everyone. So, yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Thanks very much, guys. Reading through a couple of your platforms, Kevin, you had the idea of a dangerous ideas segment. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure, yeah, I was just thinking my personal experience at the Institute and talking to a few of the other students, we have similar feelings about it, but just that the type of discourse, academic discourse that we have is a bit limited or defined within a narrow range of sort of the total sort of discourse that we feel is out there and needed to address some of the really pressing issues of our world today. So dangerous ideas, you wouldn't necessarily have to call it that. But just to me, it's to bring a whole bunch of different variety of viewpoints, to talk about topics that might be even a little bit uncomfortable to talk about. But I think it's the job of sort of academia and for us to wrestle with these questions right now, because when you're out working for professional organizations, if you're working in the profit sector and not-for-profit, you're under certain constraints that we're not under here, where we get to talk about certain issues. So where I got the idea is there's a festival in Sydney called the Dangerous Ideas Festival, and they address topics like had a debate on sort of the importance of religion, or there was one on the NSA and like WikiLeaks and stuff like that. So these important topics that I think there's a lot of ideas out there that are outside of the discourse we're constantly sort of being exposed to. And it's not to say that it's completely absent here, I don't think, but just that in my personal experience, I felt like it's been a little bit limited, and I would like to do my part to see if I could change that.
And Nelly, you mentioned about the diversity of cultural events. Where do you think that there is a gap at the minute in terms of what sort of cultural events do you think are missing from the current?
Okay. Thinking about cultural events, I was thinking about the last event that Lani did, which was a huge success, and I think everyone enjoyed. So I was thinking about more events like that, or like the Asian event that was launched also in Pichoto Common Room, where we all can get together, we can have fun, we can talk even outside of the classroom. And yeah, I'm thinking that was my talks about different events that can have people together from different areas, and we can share like even thinking, food, like the costumes, just to be aware of the big multicultural diversity that we have here, and just to have more of it.
Is there any questions from the floor to open us off? I saw Dorgam's hand first. No. Yeah, Tara's got the mic, so.
Well, thank you both for being candidates for the events coordinator. This might sound a little harsh, but I mean, even as the elections last year and probably the years before that, we've heard repetitive and redundant things and ideas and visions. So, but I guess I'll just go ahead and ask you, what would both of you want to be remembered for? What would be the biggest event that you would throw out in the year that would say, yeah, that's Kevin did that or you did that? So.
Natalie, would you like to start us off?
I would like to be remembered as for someone that bring people together, and actually we became friends by being in some place all together, enjoying and sharing.
I think I would like to establish a better communications platform to advertise events and stuff like that, to help increase participation overall. So yeah, I don't think necessarily any single specific event that I would 100% throw sort of my weight behind. Like I know maybe somebody else can ask a question about cabaret and our opinions on it. I feel like that's probably on a lot of people's minds. But so I think it's good to have an end-of-year party that everybody can come together. But I think what I'd really want to be known for is the communication and the connection among all the different student initiatives.
Damien, saw your hand.
Thanks. Thank you both for running. And this, what just Kevin said is a nice leeway into what I'm going to ask. So just before the cabaret, we had a lot of discussion on the Facebook group about how some events are under-advertised, some events are over-advertised or not. And the question was a more sort of practical solution to what Kevin was just saying, in terms of, one of the suggestions was creating a shared calendar where all of the events would have obviously equal prominence, and we could all know not to schedule events when other initiatives have events, et cetera, et cetera. So what would be your guys' practical solution to the problem of some events who have less funding or fewer people organizing them and getting them to be equally prominent on the sort of institute events stage?
Kevin, do you want to start us off? How do we ensure equal coverage of events at the Institute?
Sure. I think one thing that I could do that would help was just create a dialogue across the different heads of the student initiatives, so that there's a little bit more coordination between it, so events won't necessarily conflict with each other. So if I have like a master calendar that shows, okay, here's like a big gap of spaces with no events, and then go around to see what the different student initiatives are doing and see if we can try to balance things out a little bit. Yeah, so that's what I would be interested in doing.
Natalie?
Okay, I think we all have the same right to post our events, whatever we should do it. And I really think it's a good idea to have this like newspaper for everyone when we can post all the events and we are aware of them. And I also think that it will be great because we have CERN here, we have UN, we have so many great organizations that it will be great if we also put the events that they're having so we can know about different events that are going on in Geneva. And yeah, that's what I think. Just something that everyone can have access to and not overwhelming everyone with emails or posts. Just somewhere that people can go there if they want to look for something.
I believe Nicholas had a question as well.
Thank you both. I'm going to follow Dorgan's line of being provocative. It's not so much about the diversity of the events, and I'm not so much preoccupied by the Americanization. It really depends on who's in charge, and it happens that it's Americans. But it's more about the diversity in so much as I think that while social-like events are interesting, we are also at a professional institution, and I find that there is, to a certain degree, a lack of events which are dedicated to professional career stuff. Now, you might tell me that the Institute is organizing some, but I find them to be a little redundant in their themes and the type of people who always go there. So would you also be able to offer something different?
Yeah, I mean, with the idea of having some debates about some sort of controversial issues, it was sort of along those lines, and I guess it doesn't have to be. It could be really anything that we're talking about. But yeah, I think, for example, like the networking event that the Middle East Initiative did, I think that was a really good, successful event where you have different speakers come and talk about the work that their organization is doing. And then you're afterwards, you're able to talk with them a little bit, communicate. So doing that, like supporting the careers fair, I definitely would be interested in not just focusing on social events and stuff like that, but trying to, increase the presence of more professional and academic events and different things like that.
I think we have here in the Institute a very good tool, which is a career forum. I work with them this year. I will also keep going in that way, working with the career forum, because what I think is the same people that always go to the same events. So I would like to find a way to make more people to be interested in the events that we already have, because it's not a lack of events, it's a lack of people attending to the events. And about different things besides social, cultural things will be amazing, and also an sport weeks will be something that I think we enjoy like a lot, like maybe football team, and just have different teams for different programs, and we all go and cheer them up. And I don't know, I think it will be fun in a new way that we can get together.
Chris, how much more time do we have for questions?
We've got another 7 minutes for this segment. So another question there?
Hi guys, and Nelly, thanks so much for presenting yourself as an option for the events coordinator. I don't have a really deep understanding of what the position represents for ourselves as a student body, other than what the name suggests and the obvious. Because I believe, as far as I know, every initiative fosters their own event. The Connection Forum was motivated by the school and the communication person. The cabaret was fostered by, the people in need, etc., etc. But I do want to ask you, what would you do to reinforce or enhance whatever the events coordinator person do? And also, why we as students need you, specifically you, for this position?
Sorry, can you repeat the last sentence of that?
Yes. Why do we need you? Like, as a student body, why you specifically, for this position?
So why is the position of event coordinator salient to
What?
Nelly, would you like to start off?
Okay. Well, it's not like you need me. I mean, whoever who is in charge should do a good job representing the events. What I think it can be different if I'm in this position is that I think I'm an open person, outgoing person, and I like to work with people. So it wouldn't be like a job. It will be more like something that I enjoy. And it's not about the tuition fee from either, because I have a scholarship that already pays for my tuition. So it's not about money, it's about something that I know that I will enjoy doing it. And when you enjoy doing something, then you can do things right.
Yeah, I think we're both up here because, and everybody that's running for GISA is up here because we want to help serve and contribute back to this student community that we've all taken a part of and found to be valuable. So I think what we can offer is we'll offer our services as far as to plan events. It's much more about what's happening behind the scenes, about picking venues, making connections with people, figuring out food, drinks, transportation, location, all of the logistical things that aren't necessarily apparent right away. But having those things planned out, having them solid, and having backup plans is really important to create a smooth, successful event that everybody can enjoy. So it's just a matter of thinking of all those things. And I think either of us will put our best foot forward. We'll try as hard as we can to make this a really good, successful coming year for all of us students.
Jair touched on a point there about what is the role of the events coordinator, and so far we've focused on just what your interests are in terms of running events and what you would like to see. But obviously the person that is elected will sit on the GISA committee and that board. What do you think your contribution on that board will be?
So I think one of the things will be our input into probably the allocation of funds. At least, I'm not sure exactly how the budget gets set. I'm not familiar with that process. But I think our job is to go out and see what the students want as far as the different allocations to different events. There's been a lot of push that Cabaret has probably been overfunded. So I think it's part of our job to sort of press that. Because we've been talking a lot about the student initiatives, but there are also just straight GISA events that need to be planned. There's the Welcome Week. We had a Halloween party. We had the Cabaret was in part largely sort of planned by GISA, the after party. So those events are directly under our responsibility. And then just contributing to the board and whatever discussions that they're having and trying to represent the students' opinions on that.
Yeah, well, about the budget, I think it's very important to be careful with the budget. But also very important is to talk to people and hear what people want. Like, it's not just creating events that we may think they're cool for everyone, but if you have communication with people, then you can have successful events when people is more happy than complaining that they have been lately. And yeah, it's about communication. Everything is about like having this well communication between students, initiatives, and GISA members, and whoever is in charge of the institute for that situation.
Okay, so we're going to try and run through this relatively quickly and sharply because we have so many different candidates. But we've got time for so many different positions that are being run for. We've got time maybe for one more question. Farah?
Hey both. So my first question is, what do you think of the systems of checks and balances over what type of events initiatives can put on? So in terms of how ethical they are or how politically correct they are. And secondly, what support would you give to students who want to start an initiative? Thank you.
Nelyda, to start us off. So checks and balances, any restrictions that there should be on events, and support to new initiatives.
Okay, I don't really know how much money we have to be working, honestly. I think it's a responsibility to support some initiatives, I mean all the initiatives, also to support the creating of new initiatives. And well, I will need to have more information about the budget, because honestly, I don't know how can we allocate certain amount of money if I don't know how many money do we have for working. But what I think it can be also helpful for everyone. And someone was proposing that in the Facebook discussions they've been lately. Like we can, like when we have an event or something, we can, of course, like be the one who sells the drinks, and then the money is coming also for the same initiatives, so we can finance ourselves. So yeah, that's what I think, but I don't really know about how much we can allocate.
In terms of the question, Farah, did I understand correctly that you mean in terms of whether events, if there's potentially events which are unethical, what process do you go through to make judgments on that? Do you want to speak directly to that? So if there's an event that has been proposed that is arguably unethical, what process do you go through to decide whether it can be run or not?
No. There's no way of discriminating. Oh, I didn't get your question, I'm sorry. So I'm going to give the micro to...
I mean, like, for example, inviting a politician that's really controversial or against a human rights, for example, would you prevent that as a society from allowing such an event, or would you allow help other students, I don't know, protest or something like that? Do you have an idea what you do in a situation like that?
I'm not expecting a situation like that, but if it happens, yeah, I will be supporting students. I don't know what else to say. Like, we can talk later, because I don't really understand you.
Yeah, so when you create a student initiative, part of the thing that's on the form is that you have to show that how you're gonna be inclusive to everybody and open to everybody to be able to participate and stuff like that. So I think as the events coordinator, if I'm handed that piece of paper, I think it's up to me to sort of decide that. And if there's anything that's sort of controversial, then then you would turn it to the board and we'd probably discuss it to see what our thoughts are and make recommendations about how it could change. As far as inviting people to speak that have controversial views, I think what you would want to do is you wanted to have two sides of the discussion. And the point isn't to invite like the craziest people that you can, whoever has the craziest ideas gets to speak. But I think I'm personally more lenient towards that, as long as different sides are being equally represented and it's being done in a respectful manner and it's not just hate speech or something like that.
Can we have a round of applause for the two candidates?